One more. Okay, so we're recording the session. All of our sessions are recorded and posted on our YouTube channel. You can Google us at Inclusion and you'll find our YouTube channel where we have literally hundreds of videos and informative shows about everything to do with inclusive practices.
So we are also now today at World Trade Center at the Accessibility Expo. What we want to do is we'll try to share the highlights of the amazing stuff that's going on here. And if you haven't and you get a chance, please do come and visit. It is honestly worth a visit.
Well worth a visit. So please keep your microphone on mute. If you have a question, pop it into the chat and we can come to the questions toward the end. As we said, all of our forums are recorded. We welcome vendors, but please do not try to promote any products. This is a fully free forum. It is not sponsored. And we also welcome questions and comments about practice, but please do not mention schools or individuals by name. Okay, and we will hand over to the wonderful Christo, who is the head of inclusion at the Italian school in Abu Dhabi, and who is also a very proud dad to a son who has autism. Christo.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the nice words. I don't think I'm that fantastic, but thank you so much. So I'm going to share my screen with everybody. Can I just ask Catherine or Mita, can you see my slides?
Yes, Christo, it's clear. We can see it.
Okay. Thank you so much. So welcome all the teachers, and I hope there's some parents at this session of today. This is really
Sorry, Christo. Just now you went to click to exit full screen. That's what it's showing for me. All right, now you're on.
okay, but if I press on slideshow, does it change anything?
Yes, well, go on to the next slide. Maybe that's what you need to do.
There's the next slide.
No, you're not showing now.
Okay, let me just exit again. Okay, then I'm going to keep it like this.
Yeah, stay on that.
Okay. So everybody who joined, thank you so much. This is a fun session. It's not a long session, and it's really a fun session. You don't need to take notes or anything. This is a sit back and relax session coming from an extremely proud father of an autistic boy and also head of inclusion. So this is absolutely what I do day and night, is being a father to an autistic boy and helping all parents and students regarding inclusion and special needs and additional learning needs. So as you can see, my topic here, the fun, wonderful, and embarrassing side of having an autistic child. And that is true. There's fun times, there's wonderful times, there's embarrassing times. And that is the focus of today, is for you as teachers to understand from a parent and autistic child side. There's so much things we need to understand to work with these kids even better. So what is autism? Very short, that's autism. There's a few words there that you will see. There's some positive words with great positive meanings, but there's also a few words that's not that we are not always very happy about that. If you see like words like challenging, meltdowns, that is unfortunately part of the autism journey. So definitely there's amazing words like love and joy and friendship and happiness and all of these words. But unfortunately, part of an autistic child's life, there will always be some negative words. So what happened a few years ago, my boy is 13 now, So when he was young, at a young age, he was diagnosed, I hate the word, but he was diagnosed as Asperger's syndrome, so autism, on the autism spectrum, high functioning. So when he was diagnosed, immediately people and doctors and therapists, they told us the following: autism will change the course of your life. You won't be able to go back to things the way things were. You'll need to arrange your life a bit differently. There are many things to consider, which include financial obligations, time, changes in lifestyle, all of those. And sure, things will be tough at first, but you will find your feet. And at the end, there's always light at the end. So we heard all of these, my wife and I, we listened to all the doctors and all the specialists and professionals, and they told us this. So I listened to this and I thought, how can your life be changed so much? Or how can an autistic child have so much influence on your life? So our journey began. So there's my little family. You will see Francois with the glasses over here. Is little Francois, and my little daughter Henriette. This is my wife Riette, and then I have two older kids from a previous marriage, Sonia and Christo. So luckily these four kids love each other, they adore each other. So there's my wife and the two little ones, Francois. So a couple of years ago, diagnosed with autism, and our journey began. So Francois was, in some slides, it's only photos, so I will go through the photos quickly. So Francois was a real normal boy. That's another word I hate. When people tell me, your boy looks normal. Oh my word, what is abnormal? So I hate the word normal. So my boy was a normal boy. He played with his brothers. He went on vacation with us. Here you can see a normal boy, like some people say. I have a normal boy. There's little Francois, all stages of his life. So soon we realized Francois is different. That's for sure. Francois was very different. When other kids played outside, Francois was reading. Yes, Francois reading. And here's more areas, no more situations where he read. He would sometimes even take a book outside. So when the other kids play, Francois will read books. Then at a very early age, we saw Francois can draw, and he can draw amazing pictures. This is already a few years back. So Francois drew. If he has a pencil and a paper near him, he was drawing pictures. Here's some of Francois' art. Here's an ostrich egg that he drew on. So Francois is absolutely in love with drawings. Yes, when we are on holiday, half of the time he will be on his bed exactly like this, and he will draw. He will look at comics or games or animation on the computer or TV, and he will just sit and draw the images. That is amazing. On this right-hand picture, why I included this picture is to show you Francois was also a little dreamer. So many times, this was actually a situation where I had to get Francois back to reality. He was thinking about something, I'm not sure what, and I had to call his name 2 or 3 times until he responded. So yes, more of Francois' art. At our school, there was an art exhibition the previous year, and Francois had some of his artwork in the exhibition. Francois also enjoyed art and puzzles and playing with animals and toys. There's one of the first negative pictures I want to show you. Everything didn't always go that well. So sometimes Francois will have a meltdown because his favorite toy is not there, or he cannot find his favorite toy, or it can be something very small and there can be a little meltdown happening quite easily. It's fun. Some of the fun pictures I will show you very soon. So Francois also enjoyed playing with puppets. Like don't know if you remember the Muppets on TV. He spent many months researching the Muppets. And he has a few puppets of his own, so he loves playing with the puppets. So as you can see, Francois was really a normal boy with some strange loves and strengths, the arts and the puppets and playing with animals. So animals is a huge part of Francois' life, and I will show you some slides in very soon about the animals. So let's look at some of the areas that is tough for us as parents, and that teachers must understand that the parents also have it tough and have challenges. So Francois doesn't drink water, for instance, not at all. He cannot stand the taste of water because of some of his sensory issues. So unfortunately, Francois is not eating and drinking very healthy. He enjoys participating in swimming and things like that, but Francois is not very, very healthy, and we struggle as parents of an autistic child. First of all, he doesn't drink water, and then there's a lot of issues regarding food. Many healthy foods he will not even touch, he will not taste it, he will not even, if you get the smell or the texture, will put him off, he will not touch it. So we introduced everything in the last few years. Luckily, here and there's things like strawberries that he eats, bananas, many of the other fruits and vegetables he absolutely hates. He cannot stand the texture or the smell. Unfortunately, some meats, he eats most meats, but without any sauce. So when we are in a restaurant or buying takeaways, then we must make sure there's no sauces near the food. The food must be just as it is, like nuggets. You hear many times autistic parents say, yes, they have a fridge full of nuggets. That is the truth, because that's the go-to eat and treats for an autistic boy. So yes, Francois riding a bicycle, he doesn't have very good balance, so he still has the support wheels on the cycle. Yes, me exercising with my boy, because if I don't do it with him, he will definitely not do any exercises. So when you want the autistic child to participate, usually in sport, you need to do it with them. Then there's some embarrassing moments, like for instance this. So an autistic child will remove their clothes without thinking about this. So this is a fun picture, but it was quite embarrassing for us as parents. So you never know what is the next step or the next thing that your autistic child will do. But this is the fun and wonderful and embarrassing side of having a child with autism or autistic child. So here's a little story. Last year, there's little Francois in the front. I think you can see the abnormal child, like some people call autistic kids. There's Francois in the front of the bus. So we went on a trip to a farm. And on this trip, everything went well. As you can see, he is actually smiling at the camera, because that is one thing that autistic kids doesn't do. They really don't like to look at you or look at the camera and smile for a photo. For them, it's really a big issue. So one thing that I urge everybody to do is immediately remove eye contact from IEPs, because an autistic child will not necessarily make eye contact. So please remove that immediately from any IEP. You cannot force or teach an autistic child to make eye contact. They will do that when they feel like that. So we were on this farm with the trip. So as you can see on the right-hand side, there's Francois. All the kids are looking at some of the fruit and vegetables that they grow there. Francois saw a little ant or something, and he was there because he loves animals. So he saw this little creature on the ground, and his attention was there. Then in this hall where they had lunch, I need to tell you this fun fact. Francois was eating again on his own, busy with his own chicken nuggets. And in this little eating hall, there were some flies. So against the walls and the windows all in the inside, there were some flies. So Francois was still eating his nuggets. And the next moment, Francois was up with his lunchbox and he was catching flies. So everybody enjoyed this session. So Francois was catching flies, then he will eat some nuggets, then he will catch some flies without washing his hands. So that is some of the embarrassing times, fun times, but embarrassing times of parents of autistic kids. So Francois was extremely proud of all the flies that he caught during his lunch break. And when I asked him that evening, how was the trip, the only thing he could tell me was the amount of flies that he caught, not about the animals that they see and the fruit and vegetables and the other things on the farm. He could tell me about the amount of flies that he caught that day. So here's some pictures of the eating process. Never, ever easy. If there's any sauce like on this, nuggets or fish and chips, if there's any tomato sauce or any barbecue sauce close to this, he will not touch the food. So these faces are usually the faces when he tries something new, because he needs to feel the texture, and the smell must be okay, and the taste. So it's quite a fun process, something sometimes very embarrassing, but it's a fun process for our kid to start eating something new. It's always a challenge. Autistic kids are very sensitive to noise. So usually I always laugh and I tell people, my boy is extremely sensitive to noise, but he can be the loudest guy in the room. And that's the truth. Autistic kids can be very loud and play and singing and everything, but they are sensitive to noise. So they will immediately cover their ears for things like that. So one of the sensory issues are the sound of the when we go to the barber shop, that sound of the clippers is extremely tough for Francois. So for me to prepare Francois to go for a haircut, and that's once in a few months, I must go with. So I must motivate my child and promise him all kinds of things, and I will go with, and we will cut our hair together. So that's one of the tough situations, but fun situations. Afterwards, we always laugh. Before that, it's always a struggle. And remember, guys, I told you about the animals. Yes, Francois and animals. Francois loves animals. So as long as he is between animals, he's a happy boy. On many occasions, he told me that he likes animals more than people. So maybe it's because people don't tell him he's abnormal or he looks abnormal, maybe. But he loves animals. Yes, Francois, he has a few hamsters at home. He wants a dog, but we are living on the 4th floor, so it's not that easy to buy a dog. So we bought some hamsters for him to play with. Yes, Francois, with some animals. Oops. Some pigeons, and there's a little dog. Like I said, if Francois is amongst animals, he is a totally different child. What we realized also is that he has a relationship with animals that I cannot believe. Sometimes animals will run from all of us and they will go to Francois. We were on the airport the one day, and Francois was sitting next to the staircase in the airport, and there were hundreds of people walking past, and many people had little dogs on leashes and everything in the airport. And it was a lot of traffic actually in the airport, people and with their little pets. And out of the blue, a little dog was actually pulling his owner to Francois sitting on the ground, and the dog climbed on Francois's lap. And that day we realized again, there's some kind of relationship that autistic kids have, especially like Francois with the animals. We couldn't believe this, but the animals, and like that dog on the airport, he went through all the people straight to Francois and he climbed on Francois's lap. The owner told us that dog never does that. He will never go to a stranger and get on his lap. So yes, Francois also with a tortoise and some fish. So you can see that face on the right hand side. If he's amongst animals, he is a happy child. Here's some more puzzles that we built as a family, and this was in the COVID time. So the last few pictures are some of the fun things. So this is Francois on the right hand side. So he can be very active and then he can go to sleep for hours. Some days he will go through, especially when it's holiday or weekends, he will go through the night drawing pictures and watching cartoons and animation and playing games, Nintendo and those kinds of games, and then he's dead the next day and he will sleep for hours. Here's some fun pictures of Francois with his little sister. And as you see, Francois was really just a normal little boy when he was young. In our school, I'm very proud. Here you can see two autistic kids in our school, Adam and Francois, and we create little groups so that they can learn about socialization and social skills and communication skills. So we have this little groups, and what is amazing, you can ask almost any child in the school or in the class if they want to join us for some games with our autistic kids, and they will say yes, and they will enjoy working with our kids. So this is something that is amazing at this stage. They do understand inclusion and they do include everybody. So Francois actually also got some rewards. This was a sport day for students of determination in his previous school. Here's the current school of some certifications and certificates and a little trophy. So there's proud Francois. He was also being used in some of the marketing for the school, and he was so proud. This poster is on the outside of the school, still on the outside of on the fence. So in the mornings when we pass this big poster, Francois will greet himself. He will say, "Good morning, Francois, how are you?" Things like that. So it's quite wonderful to see that. So I never believed all of these things. Hyper or hypo regarding sensory, social and communication skills, verbal or non-verbal, that can be a challenge. Fixated interests like Francois with the arts and the animals. Attachment to routines and behaviors. I will say something more about this now. Repetitive behaviors or interests or activities, and difficult in relationships, developing, maintaining, and understanding. So guys, as an inclusion leader, and I am in education now for 31 years, 31, so yes, I'm not that young anymore. After 31 years in education and 13 years a proud father of an autistic boy, and many years in managing positions and many years as head of inclusions or SENCOs, I can tell you that this is the truth. These symptoms of autism or characters of autism, all of these things, it's definitely true. These kids are special, and not because they are special needs, they are special. They have special interests. They love routine. For instance, on this page where they speak about routines, they want to know what's happening next. So many times you will see the inclusion or the special need teachers. We try to give them the schedules, daily schedules that they know exactly. Or we use little pictures. They need to know exactly what's happening after this period, what's happening after break time, and etc. Relationships, it's always very difficult. Francois prefer being on his own or with animals. So if you want to ask him if he needs friends, no, he needs animals. Like I said, he told us on many occasions he likes animals much more than people. These interests and activities and the sameness is very important. When Francois was young, he was, I wish I had a picture of this. He will put two animals in lines, or one animal lines, or two by side, and for long meters and meters of his toy animals, for instance, and he did it often. So that was one of those special interests. Like the fixated interest, he loves Nintendo Switch games, Mario. I know all the Mario characters by now and all the games, and he will tell you everything about the Nintendo games. Something that's quite funny, Francois will tell me when the first Nintendo game was created and who was the person creating it and who was the voice actors, everything he will be able to tell me. But if I ask him, what did you have for lunch yesterday? He will not be able to tell me. So that is autism. That's autistic kids. They will tell you about things years before, but don't ask him what did they do yesterday or what did they eat yesterday. The communication, luckily Francois can communicate very well. He can read very well. His English communication skills are great. But many autistic kids will struggle with like speech delays when they are young. Some of them will be non-verbal for a few years, actually. The sensories, that's for sure, like Francois, sounds, noise, smells, textures, taste, almost any of the senses can be an issue. Francois wears head-cancelling earphones almost permanently in school. And like I mentioned before, the students in the school knows Francois. There's a few kids like in this picture with the earphones. This is the noise-cancelling earphones. So Francois wear this permanently. It blocks out the background noise, so you can still hear a teacher speak, but it cancels some of the background noise. So he will wear this on a daily basis, and nobody even looks strange at him. And I think that's the dream for us as inclusion teachers, is to have the community understand and include these kids so that when they are in the mall or at the movies or on holiday, don't look strange at the disabled kid or autistic kid, that it's part of them. That is all of our dreams. So this is also some of the things that I believe in now after all of these years. They like to be touched by specific people. In general, they don't like to be touched, but if they build a relationship with you and they love you, they will love you to touch them. If they don't know you, that will be very tough. The loud noises and loud music, definitely. Bright lights, for sure. This is major. Being expected to do something without being told. Like I mentioned, these kids need routine and structure, and they need to understand what's happening today and after break and the end of the day and tonight or this evening. They are already on the back foot if things change. Being stared at, they don't like to be stared at, but sometimes I think they don't care because they are being stared off on many occasions and they will just continue with whatever they are busy with. Being in crowded places, this is a big challenge. Francois even wears his headphones at assemblies in the mornings because of the people and the noises and the loud national anthem and things like that. So crowded places is a no-no. The only time Francois loves many people is when there's animals also in the surrounding. Otherwise, he hates crowds and many people. Definitely, I don't think only autistic kids, I think any human being on earth will not like to be called retarded or weird or abnormal. Having routine change, like I mentioned before, that's a big no-no. Overstimulating environments and sensory overload. Too many smells. My boy cannot eat in the canteen at our school. He was there once or twice and never ever again, because all of the different smells and the visualization of the foods and the textures, he cannot eat in the canteen. So he eat in a room in our school with one or two other kids during break times. Having photos taken, wow, that is huge. If you go for a passport photo as an autistic parent, that poor man behind the camera to take a passport photo of an autistic child, he will take 30 photos and he will try to select one where the child actually looked at the camera. So Francois will pull faces and look around and anything except just one normal photo for his passport. So this is really a huge issue. Being measured by the same yardstick, these kids do have strengths, and that is something that all of us must remember. These kids do have strengths, and you need to focus on their strengths and their loves, and you cannot assess them always the same as the other kids, where they will have strengths in specific areas that's amazing, and then in different areas they will be on a level much lower than their grade level or their peers or their age level. So it's a different approach to assess these kids or to measure their progress or involvement. Being approached to strangers is a big challenge, because sometimes a stranger, for instance, Francois, if it's a stranger holding a cat or a dog, Francois will immediately go to that person. From the country where we are from, that is very, very dangerous, because there's a lot of crime, and so that was a big thing. He will immediately approach any stranger who has an animal with him. Other times he will just ignore anybody who's talking to them. So what do these kids need? Definitely love, unconditional love. If any parent asks me what is the best thing for my autistic child that I can do, I will say love. You need to love that guy. Here's our little family, and here's Francois' grandmother and grandfather. He strives on the love from his family. So is my child different? Yes, 100% yes. Is he abnormal? No. For us, he is as normal as can be. But is he different? Yes, 1,000 times yes. Francois is different, but it's okay to be different. It's really okay to be different. I'm almost done, guys. So I researched some famous autistic people: Leonardo da Vinci, Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein, Michelangelo, and my son. Autistic kids are amazing. I have a saying on this picture: your greatest contribution to the world may not be something you do, it may be someone you raise. So teachers that joined today, thank you so much. And this is something to remember. Those autistic kids in your class, and any special need kids in that matter, for that matter, they need love, and they need to be believed in. So they have enough challenges as it is. On a daily basis, these kids do have challenges. All kids with additional learning needs, they already have enough challenges. Why make it tougher for them? Yes, it's not always easy when the kids are younger. A lot of behavior and discipline issues arise, and sometimes it's because they cannot communicate well, or things change around them and they have a meltdown. I can give you 50 things that can trigger kids, autistic kids or students with additional learning needs. They just need to be loved and understand, and always remember they have it tough already. Every morning is tough for them. Every morning during a tough day at school, long hours at school, it's already tough for them. And something that we must never ever forget when we work with these kids' parents. Those parents are already under pressure. They face all of these fun and wonderful and embarrassing and tough times that I shared with you now. So we must, when we work with these parents or communicate with these parents, it's extremely important to remember this. They have it tough already. This is my email and WhatsApp. You are very welcome if you want to ask anything about autism or for anything for that matter. I am pretty much available if you want me to have a chat with parents of students with additional learning needs, especially the young parents with young kids. For them, it is tough. They recently received a diagnosed or clinical report for their child, and the child has autism or ADHD or whatever. And those parents, they think they are alone on this earth. They ask questions like, why? What did I do wrong? Why my son or my daughter? So if you need me, I will do this for free. If you want to have me for a little session with some of your parents, to give them some of these slides and just some support, and to explain to them they are not alone and there are support groups and the next steps, because they are unsure and they are scared of everything. Just want to stop presenting. So parents and teachers, especially teachers, we work with these kids on a daily basis, and we don't always understand the challenges that that child already has. In the morning when he arrives at school, he already has his challenges. Some of them already had challenges brushing their teeth this morning, or getting on a bus, or waking up. So there are challenges for these kids the whole day long. So we need to understand these kids and to support each other. It's especially important for us to work as a little team with a child, the therapist and the parents and us as teachers and this classroom teacher, many times the shadow teachers or the learning support assistants. They are amazing. We need their inputs as well. So it's very important to work as a little team around this boy and test and trial. I know my boy after 13 years. I didn't know my boy after 3 or 4 years. Every day there was something new. There's still something new. Every few days or every few weeks, there's something that I say, oh my word, I didn't know about this. So it's an ongoing challenge, but they are amazing. So if you see an autistic child again in your class or any student with additional learning needs, I know the general class teachers. I know this because the general class teachers are in my office on a daily basis. This child is so naughty and this child cannot behave well. And this child, yes, ma'am, I do understand this. I will help you, but this will not just go away. So we need to work on this. So guys, love these autistic kids or any kids with additional learning needs. Love them. That's the best thing you can do. Learn more about that. The specific topics or challenges, read about it. If you just Google autism, you will have hundreds of little YouTube videos. I want to share a short 4-minute video, Catherine, if it is possible. It's a fun, short 4-minute video in the life of an autistic child. if I can quickly share my screen for this. I hope it will play on my slides. Oh, it's gone. Nice. Sorry, guys.
Not working.
Take your time, Christo. We have time. Have a look. See if you can find it. That was really, really insightful. It was a lovely, lovely session. I think people will really feel the heart of it. It was very heartfelt.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Chris. Honestly, I
Thank you
really
so much.
enjoyed listening to them. And your photos are so cute. Your son is
Yeah,
so
thank you so much. Yeah, so my last message for all the teachers, especially young parents, new young parents at your school, these KG kids who was recently diagnosed, or they were not diagnosed yet, but the parent can see there's something wrong or there's a challenge. You are welcome to contact me or Catherine, Mita. There's a lot of people with a lot of knowledge and experience, but it's extremely important to work easy with these parents. Some of them will be in denial, especially in the Middle Eastern countries. They are not that open to challenges like this in their kids, and they think they are alone, and they are at times embarrassed or ashamed, and they don't need to be. They need to have the information, and then, like even Franca will tell you now, we shared the whole autism idea last year with Francois, and if you meet him now, he will tell you he is a proud autistic boy. So we need to get parents and the kids on that page, but that is a few years. I mean, Francois was 12 years old before we had this inclusion and autistic session with him, and now he's a proud autistic boy. So these kids and these parents can be very proud, but it's a journey. It's not something that happens overnight. It doesn't happen overnight for a new young parent to believe everything that everybody tells them, and they are looking at themselves and ask, what did I do wrong, or things like that. I spoke to a parent 2 or 3 years ago, and he asked me, why did God give me a child like this? And I told him, wow, because you are special. You were not special when God gave you the child. You are now special after a few years. So I always say, God doesn't give special need kids to special parents. He gives it to normal general parents, but he will make you special. That I promise you. And we must look at these kids from that angle. I do understand the challenges. I'm in education for a long time, especially regarding behavior and discipline and disruptiveness. Yes, because these kids are wired differently. So it's a journey, but it's an amazing journey. And if we look at these kids from that angle, some days we will understand better. But thank you so much. Yes.
We have a question. So
Yes.
Shalani has a question for us. Do you want to ask, Shalani? You can just unmute yourself and ask the question. And for Betty, she's asking if we will share. We'll be sharing the recording on our YouTube channel,
Yes.
Inclusion on YouTube. If you Google it, you'll find us. Okay, Shalani, do you want to ask your question? Maybe she's logged off. Okay, no problem. Right, I think that's it, Christo. Does anyone have any questions? No? All good for today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
been
so
very
much for the
clear.
opportunity, Catherine and Mita. Thank you so much. We as inclusion guys and special need guys, we are always working on our own schools, on our little challenges, we never get time to share. And you are doing an amazing job for sharing and communicate with other teachers in the same boat as us.
You're welcome. You guys are the ones doing all the hard work. We're just helping.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
See you tomorrow. And thank you everyone
Yes.
for joining. And we will see you again next month, inshallah. Have a lovely, lovely evening and have a good
Guys.
October.
Right. Just to let you know,
Thank
we
you.
have our LSA forum next week. We will be sharing the links out to any of your LSAs who have not got contact with us. Please do ask them to contact us. But I usually share it out to the heads of inclusion. So do feel free to ask them. We're going to be talking about positive behavior management to manage anxiety, ADHD, and whatever else.
Super. Thanks, everyone.
All
Have a
right.
good evening.
Bye
Ma salama.
bye.